Hi, so welcome. I just wanted to quickly show you how I use my latest brush set for Procreate called Little Liberty. What it is just a Liberty print inspired brush set, stamp style, so that you can easily create your own floral inspired, retro inspired floral patterns, repeating patterns, or even just, basic designs using Procreate with ease. It's super easy, super fun to use. There's over 100 hand-drawn florals, and there's some bees and mushrooms, a ladybug, a four-leaf clover, quite a variety to get started with, and I wanted to show you how I use them. So I've gone ahead and I've set up a canvas that is a perfect square because I want to create a repeating pattern out of these so that I can later use them, export them to Photoshop or Illustrator to make a repeating pattern for merchandise or fabrics, what have you. So to do that, you're going to need the perfect square as a canvas. So go ahead and set that up. As high resolution as you can would be better if you're going to ultimately print it. And I have set up a palette to begin with because I know I wanted to do kind of a fun, bright, poppy, kind of 60s-ish pattern. So I've gone ahead and set this up. I'll include it with the brush set just for reference, and I will show you how I do a repeating pattern. So I'm doing a 60s. I want to do a 60s kind of pattern, so I'm going to go ahead and choose the ones that look a little bit more that style. Make them big. You want to go ahead and fill within the square. Don't overlap the edges. Keep it within the box, and just scale up and scale down the brushes that are your favorites, that match the style you're after. Yeah, it may take a while to do this, but anyway, let me find, there we go. Okay, so here's the somewhat tricky part. You have this lovely layer. You're going to put a layer in above it and just drag a solid color into that box. Keep your design down below. We're going to lower the transparency so that we can see our design. And now we're going to group those together. If you haven't grouped before, all you need to do is highlight the layer above, slide your lower layer to the right, and you'll see that group comes up right here. Group that together like that. You can close that layer or that group, and we're going to want to duplicate this. Duplicate. So now we have two of these. We're going to slide one to the left and slide one to the right, and that's going to make a perfect cut on each edge so that when they tile, they're going to tile seamlessly. So now we're going to go to the lower group, and we're going to click on the move arrow here. We're going to make sure that snapping is turned on, magnetics and snapping and uniform, and we're just going to kind of in the center of that slide it to the left, and you're going to see these little indicators come up on the top to let you know that you're perfectly in the center of that, which is exactly what you want. So now we did that with this lower layer. We're going to do the same thing with the top layer, but the other direction. Same thing, highlight that layer, that group, click on the move tool, and again we have the snapping and magnetics turned on. We're going to slide it to the right, and when it gets to that little indicator right there, just release. If you don't release properly like I just did, dang it, just tap, but try to tap perfectly in the center. Okay, see, now I've done it too much. There we go. See how there's no line at all? It's perfectly in the center. And now we have repeating edges. And so now we need to do the same thing with the top and the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the colors, because those just indicated where the perimeter of our square was. And I'm going to go ahead and group all of this together. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did to start with. I'm going to make another layer above. I'm going to fill it solid. Then I'm going to make it transparent so that I can see what's beneath. Now I'm going to group these two layers by highlighting the top layer, sliding the lower layer to the right, clicking on group, collapse that, and I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. So now I have an upper and a lower, and I'm going to slide each one up and down now this time. So I'll go ahead with the lower one, click on the move tool, and now we do the same thing. We just slide up and down, release, Now with the upper one, slide it up, release. Ugh, I did it again. So annoying. Boop, okay. It hates me. How did I do? Tap, tap. There we go. Boop, a little bit more. You can see that hairline. Maybe this one. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now our corners are filled, and now all we need to do is just go ahead and fill in the center spots that are blank. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off these color layers. We don't need them anymore, and collapse this into one layer. And now, as long as you don't touch the edges, you just fill in this white spaces or not, you're going to have a completely perfectly repeating pattern. So, but because this is a little bit experimental, I like to go ahead and lock this layer and work in a layer above just to fill in that, so I can experiment with options and see what I like, kind of thing. So don't forget to go ahead and rotate your canvas so that you have options, and you can always use different colors for the same brush, you know. And just fill it in as you Anyway, so that is it. That is our repeating pattern. Again, because I didn't touch the edges when I filled in, it's going to tile without any issues. It's going to be perfect. So what I do when I export this to get this into you know, Photoshop so that I can tile it, is I prefer to go ahead and turn off the background layer so that it's transparent, and then I will save it or export it or airdrop it as a ping so that the background is transparent, so I could go ahead and create, you know, different colorways using this same design. You know, fill it back with white or a darker color, something, or a harmonious color, whatever you think seems the best. But that is it. That is how you use Little Liberty brush set for Procreate, and how you create a seamless tiling pattern using the brushes in Procreate. So I hope that's helpful. I hope you enjoy the brushes. I think they're really fun to just sit and play around with. I think I mentioned there's ladybug, there's a hand-drawn bee, which I think is really fun kind of thing. I also wanted to point out too, with some of the flowers and some of the brushes, it's possible to consider using them with 2 layers. So this is the instance of the bee brush. So I chose black, obviously, and I can fill in the yellow for the stripes by adding a layer beneath it, and boop, you have to change to like a basic brush and go ahead and fill in the stripes. And that's how you can get more colors with one of the stamps. You could do the same thing with the flowers. You know, if I chose something that was open, like this daisy, I could go ahead and create like a pink daisy. Boop. Okay, that one's not perfectly open. Let me use, find one that's open. This one. Okay. Pink. And then I could fill it in with, you know, an orange or something if I wanted to be extra funky. Again, don't forget to change to a normal brush. I'm just choosing one from Procreate's inking category. And then you can get some fun 2-color flowers kind of thing, like a flower with a fill. And you could even, you know, offset it a little bit to get some kind of interesting print effects, that type of thing too, and then overlap all of these and change all the colors of flowers. So I think it's a really versatile set, and I feel very proud of it, and I hope that you love it. Okay, thank you.